Ready, set, art. So what we're going to do is practice drawing balloons. Yay! This will be the simple warm-up. For you guys, you only need to draw the 3 balloons. Okay? You don't necessarily need to do this background, but I felt it needed a finished background, so that's what I did. And if you want to finish up the background, that's fine. I put Adventurers out there because we know it's from a famous movie. I thought of balloons and I thought of this one movie, right? So for this exercise, I want to show you how to create the translucent part, the highlights and the shadowing, and the blending. I'm not going to draw the whole thing in front of you, but I will show you how to get from here to here, and then once you figure out from here to here, then you'll figure out the rest. This is practice for our balloon animal. Yay! So we know about balloon ducks. This one's a balloon horse. I didn't realize there was a balloon unicorn, otherwise I would have done that. But anyways, in the next project, you'll try the balloon animal, and then you'll create this cool watercolor kind of abstract background, giving it some movement to the piece, right? And it's interesting because you think looking at it, it's going to be kind of difficult, but it's really not, because it's rounded shapes with areas of shadowing and highlighting. That's all you're doing. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is sketch out the 3 balloons. Okay, and I'm going to use those same colored pencils that we had used before, although I'll kind of lightly sketch them out first so I know where to go. I realize in a demo this is very light and you may not be able to see it, but what I'm trying to do is go ahead and sketch where they are. Right? Okay. And if some of you are thinking, oh, but I want mine to be a Mickey Mouse balloon. Great. You could do a Mickey Mouse balloon if you want for this project, or a heart balloon. I am sticking with 3 rounds. Okay. Then from there, I kind of want to lightly erase, but I needed a basic sketch. You notice I didn't put the strings in yet because they're black anyway, and I could do that last. Okay. Light sketch. And for this, I'm going to use 3 basic colors: blue, red, and green. Blue, red, and green. So first I got to find my red. The constant battle of going through your pencil box. Green for later. This is blue. There it is. Blue, and then red, got my red, great. If you're thinking, but Mrs. Nay, I want to do yellow, I get that. The reason I'm showing these colors is because once you figure out these colors, you can figure out any other color. It's harder with yellow to create shadows, I will tell you that right now, because sometimes yellow with shadows, when you add the black, is not a very pretty color. So there that is. Okay. And then I need white, which is down to a nubbin, but there it is. And then somewhere in here is black. I know I could have had this pre-done and ready for you. Oh, there it is. I was thinking, oh no, my black's missing. No, it's not. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Good enough. Alright. Okay, so let's get this going. I'm going to start with, we have a blue, and I'm also going to need a light blue. So I'm going to start with my light blue. And since the blue is in front of the 3 other balloons, I feel okay with going ahead and outlining it because it's the one in the front. Now, are there such things as balloons that are opaque, as in you can't see through? Yes, that's true, except in this case, I'm trying to make it translucent. Alright, the next thing is kind of outlining where it's going to be white. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of chunk this out right here. And then I'm going to create another outline here, one over here, and one over here. And then I know not to fill in those sections. When it comes to shading, you kind of shade one way, and then you go back the other way. That way it creates even texturing, even texturing, right? I'm not going to fill up this whole thing. I'm just going to do one. Well, yeah, I have to because of the red. So please, you kind of have to be patient. Kind of nice things about videos is you can move forward or skip forward because you can figure out that I'm going to just shade this in. Okay, almost there. Sorry, you can only move so fast when it comes to shading. Almost there. Okay, and I am going to put some streaks here and there because when you blend with the white, it has a tendency to do that. But I just want to get it going. Okay. Now, right now it's a little on the streaky side, but the good news is when we go in with the white, that the layers of wax really help it to blend because colored pencils are essentially pigment with wax. Okay, so the nice thing about balloons too, because they're rounded, is essentially you're kind of starting from the outside and you're shading in. So it makes it easier trying to figure out highlights. See, what's nice later is when I do the green, I just go right over it because it's translucent. Okay, so when we get to the darker colors, you can see I kept one side more shaded. Why? Because I'm pretending the light source is here, and you can see the highlight is in the same spot every time. It's really important. You wouldn't put a highlight here and then all of a sudden this section here is really over here. That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. All highlights need to be in the same spots, no matter where you pick it. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Again, I try to work as fast as I can for demos. In college, you have to work super fast because you're only given so much time, especially if you work. Right? Okay, look, it's starting to feel like a rounded sheep. Look at that. Okay, almost there. And you want to go a little darker around the highlights, so just so they stand out. See what I mean? See, it's starting to give that shape. That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's do a little more of our darker color. I think this is my gray. Yes. Okay. A little bit of gray. Like I said, I was looking for my black earlier. All right. So, oh, cappuccino works too. Okay. Let's go a little darker. Now this is a gray, and in the picture you saw I used black. My black seems to be missing, but you can use black. Okay, so I'm doing this. Again, I'm trying to go darker. And I shade it in. Shade it in. See, I'm not ready for the white yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, almost there. Now I'm ready for this white. So the white should help it kind of blend out because that wax in it makes it more even. See how it's doing that? It's almost like a weird watercolor effect that as soon as you start layering those colors, that wax starts to build up and makes it more blendable. See? Okay, so essentially you can keep going until you get to this value range. This is very dark, but that gets you started. That gets you started. And could you technically press harder with your pencil? See that? Like if you're like, man, that's not blue enough. You're right. Great, it's not blue enough. So I go back in, and you can see I'm trying to make it a stronger blue. A stronger blue. So you keep going until you're at this point. And this image will be attached. Okay? Now that I've shown this part, well, let me finish this one. We're going to start with the red. So, red, red, red. Where'd you go? I had a red. Did I throw it back for some reason? Yes, I did. Okay. So, to do this one, I noticed as I was working on it, if there wasn't really a good pink for here, and so what I did is I used orange. So I have my oranges, okay, and then I also used deep raspberry, okay, and then had the black on hand with the white. Okay, so let's take my red, and look, I'm just going to actually go right through it, just like that. Then I need to section off the highlight areas. I'm going to use the exact same spots I did before, and the same shape. See that? And then there was one over here, one over here, and one over here. Okay. And then I'm going to use the same methods I did before with the blue. It's just that now I'm kind of just overlapping. You can see as soon as I get to my highlight areas, I skip that part, but then I overlap the blue anyway, overlapping the blue. And then I kind of fill it in. And I'm going to keep it a little lighter in the middle so I can do my orange later. A little lighter in the middle. That will help. And if I go in too dark, you could technically use an eraser. No big deal. Okay. Almost there. I'm not going to do this one as much because we already technically did the same techniques in the other one. I just want to get you started. Okay. Orange. So I'm kind of starting to bring this in a little bit. I work from the edges. Red, orange here. And then as I get to the middle, I switch to my yellow, orange. See that? Yellow, orange. Deep raspberry is darker. See that? You might kind of sharpen it as you go, and eventually you go in with your black overlapping. Same idea as before. Same idea. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the white. This is a smart group of kids. Anyway, you would figure out that once you basically have this first initial layering in, you have to go in and darken in certain spots. So yeah, even right over the blue, I still kind of do that. All right. From here, it's more layering, right? You would just go back with your red and deepen it in some areas. The reason you don't go full bright red all the way through is because you're trying to build your layers and you're trying to figure out your light to medium values. That way, when you go in with the brighter red, see this? You lightly blend it in and you stop. So then you have your brighter areas and your lighter areas. To finish, you go in with some black, and when I did put the black here, I went back over with my red to blend it, and then same here. With the black here, I went back with my blue and blended right on top instead of the white to help blend it in. When I did my greens, I used green, yellow, and my yellow greens plus black, and that helped to do this range. To finish, I went back in with the black lines, and then for you that would be done, okay? But I wanted to put in a sky, and I try to do clouds. If you need to do clouds, what's funny is you'll go ahead and shade this background, and then you have this pure white blob, and it doesn't quite work. So I went back in with the blue and put some shadows within the cloud, and then blended with the white to finish it up. This will help to prep you for balloon animals. All right, thank you, and good luck.